What's up, Fort Worth fan? What's going on, y'all? It's the kid FortWorthFabian, BigBossFabo. I'm back, man. I'm back with a live stream video, man. I know this may seem random to the guys on the channel, the viewers on the channel, man, but things are kind of steadying out. Things are kind of calming down, so I wanted to get back on the platform, just produce content because we're going to start seeing additional content, new stuff on the way. So I appreciate everybody that's rocking with the channel, man. It's 10 p.m. where I'm at. It's late. If you're joining the live stream, let me know where you're at. I'm gonna actually watch this quick Explore With Us reactions, about a 40-minute documentary slash piece regarding, if you're familiar with Explore With Us, it's basically a channel that specializes in criminology, mysteries, etc. And I take part in that on this channel, so I appreciate everybody rocking with some of these videos. Of course, there's a lot of more music reactions on the way. Subscribe to the channel. Tell me y'all's input as far as what y'all want to see. I know it's been a minute, but if you're familiar with how I upload on this channel, man, I upload frequently. So I got various forms of content that's going to be pushed out on the channel. So stay tuned, stay engaged. Right now, we're going to just take a quick reaction to look at it, Explore With Us, mini doc. So like the video, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. We're at 21K subscribers. We definitely came a long way. Things have changed. Things are going to continue to change on this platform. But peace, love to everybody that stays down and rocks with the channel. So, hey, let's hop into this reaction, man. Be sure to like the video.
There's weird things that go on in the superstitions to the point where the hair on the back of your neck stands up. As you're walking through these trails and these washes, you literally feel like there's someone or something watching you.
Well, it's now been 4 months since a Phoenix man went missing from Weaver's Needle Vista over in Tono National Forest.
You're talking a pretty healthy 25-year-old with no food, no water, no nothing. I mean, he just pretty much vanished without a trace.
Quick little disclaimer we got. I'm not going to read all of this. I'm just reading some of it. These are facts, y'all. This is the truth. No lies.
What is up, Iwu crew? On August 12th, 2020, 25-year-old Khayman Welch, who went by the nickname Kai, accompanied his uncle to complete some AC work in Tortilla Flats, Arizona. After a long day of arduous labor, they decided to stop by a nearby landmark called Weaver's Needle, a popular nature spot in the Superstition Mountains in Tonto National Forest east of Phoenix. Kai had wanted to get a look at the beautiful view of the setting sun over this scenic backdrop. The two pulled into the visitor parking lot and walked out to the viewpoint. After a while, Kai told his uncle that he wanted to get a better view of the sunset and walked off into the distance, presumably scoping out an ideal vantage point. He went southeast from the parking area, heading down the trail towards Weaver's Needle. His uncle started back to the car, but when he turned around, Kai had completely vanished from sight.
Come on, man. Sound like a movie already. Y'all let me know if the stream is working properly. I haven't done this in a long time. I'm kind of rusty, man. But like the video. And yeah, from what I'm gaining, the kid already went missing. Bad parenting?
Kai's uncle waited and waited for the young man to return. Just as the last of the sun's rays dipped lower into the sky before leaving the wilderness dark and quiet. But still, his nephew didn't return. Khayman Welch was gone.
Quick little ad. Man, let me know what y'all been up to in the comments, man. Comment down below content y'all want to see.
Last seen standing by this park sign at around 7:15 p.m.
After sunset, his uncle got worried because he hadn't come back yet, so that's when he notified authorities, and their search ensued that night. And I guess they had tracking dogs out, and they lost scent pretty nearby.
We were alerted to this case on January 11th of 2021 when a woman named Mindy reached out to us saying, "Now 5 months since he's vanished without a single trace. We and other volunteers still searching for him have spent countless hours hiking hundreds of miles in the area he was last seen. Not a single clue as to what happened to him. Everyone we talked..."
See, that don't make sense to me. How are you hiking with your uncle, right? And y'all hiking, he turned around, you disappeared. I don't get that, bro. That literally sounds like something out of a movie.
To is clueless that there's anyone missing in the area. Mindy lives in Arizona and is an experienced hiker, one who frequently goes out of her way to help search for people who go missing in the area. She's been putting extra effort into this case
Atta girl.
because Kai's mother lives in Wyoming and therefore can't visit the area as much. Mindy explained to us how she got involved in the search for Kai.
So basically, on August 13th, my family and I were on our way to the lake nearby where he went missing. And we noticed there was, it looked like a search party was out there. There was a helicopter in air and several sheriffs around the area. So when I got home, I actually looked to see what was going on because we often volunteer for search and rescue parties, and came across his disappearance. And initially, due to the heat, at that time of year, it was 115, 117 for weeks. So they did not want any volunteers out there because they were a little fearful that something would happen to one of the volunteers. So basically they were using their search party, which was, of course, a lot smaller than having volunteers out there. And then they were using drones and things of that
Got
nature.
the drones out.
People on horseback.
Get the aerial view.
Other areas. Pretty much did a pretty extensive search, what looks like to be approximately a mile and a half around the actual little rest area that Kai and his uncle had stopped at. At no time.
And when you in like the desert, it's just land. It seems like that's if you lose something, it's gonna be noticeable. When you in on the contrary, you in the jungle, a place that's got a lot of, I guess things within your parameter, your surroundings, you can get mixed and mangled. You can get lost in all which sort of direction. When you're in the desert or in Arizona on the west, I feel like, how do you disappear out there, bro? These dudes was hiking. Probably got snatched up.
Did we see birds of prey in the air or
Birds of prey?
circling? I mean, he just pretty much vanished without
My
a trace.
vultures. Shout out to my
Mindy
vultures.
shared this overhead route of the path Kai took on the 12th, from Tortilla Flats all the way to Weaver's Needle Vista, after video footage confirmed the journey Kai and his uncle took that day. Kai's mother, Rhiannon, also spoke with us one-on-one and told us a bit about her son.
Growing up, he was always really social, very energetic, very happy.
They're already reminiscing.
He's just overall a loving guy. I don't know a single person that doesn't have a good thing to say about him. He, is a tattoo artist and has tattoos and everything. His heart is big. He's very, very, very loved.
Rhiannon emphasized that Kai is a good man, with a perfect record, and has never gotten into trouble, had straight A's in high school, and didn't struggle with mental health until the months just preceding his disappearance. She created a Facebook page not long after he went missing, titled Bring Khayman Home. There she posted, "He's not just some punk kid covered in tattoos, as I'm sure many assume based off his looks. He is my son, a brother, a grandson, a nephew, a cousin, and a damn good friend." Apparently, people had been assuming that this photo used to show what Kai looked like was a mugshot, when in reality, it was just his driver's license picture. Sadly, Rhiannon said at the time of Kai's disappearance, he was struggling with severe depression and wasn't in a good mental state whatsoever.
Be sure to like the video, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me up to this point in time, man. Keep supporting it. The efforts. Keep supporting the squad.
Unfortunately, he did not have insurance, making it harder to access assistance, but he was seeking psychological help directly prior to his disappearance. Rhiannon explained, "He really loves his tattoo family down in Arizona. He said he'd found his new home. His anxiety was pretty high, but that's because he tends to underestimate himself way too much." But shortly before his disappearance, Kai had taken a hiatus from his passion for tattooing. We asked Rhiannon how he got into the AC business with his uncle.
That was actually a new thing. He was taking a break from tattooing just because he was having some really major social anxiety. You know, it kind of came out of nowhere. He had a little bit of it here in Casper, Wyoming, but when he moved to Arizona, it just seemed to kind of escalate a little bit, and we're not really sure why. But I think the onset of the pandemic and then some other things going on, you know, in our family world that were kind of stressing him out. And over time, he just seemed to kind of fall into a really dark depression. But he was fighting it well. He was setting up appointments. A lot of things were lined out to kind of get him, you know, in the right place. But it seemed pretty sudden that he started battling, as he called, crippling social anxiety. So he couldn't focus on his art the way he wanted to regularly through a lot of this. I had my own issues I was kind of going through with medical stuff and a lot of personal things on my end. And so we were kind of leaning on each other as each other's rock to kind of get through everything. And it seemed like he was, you know, really pulling through and doing well up until the last couple of days right before he went missing. That was when he really seemed to be defeated and like he was really having a hard time, you know, being chatty and open. He just kind of shut down a little bit. I'd say around August 10th, so about 2 days before he went missing, our conversation kind of shifted a little bit.
We did attempt to reach out to Kai's uncle for an interview through Rhiannon, but unfortunately did not receive a response. We can only wonder what Kai was thinking, or what his behavior was like in those last few hours before he went missing.
So if you just joined the live stream, basically it's a story of a missing individual. You know, I guess his uncle and a nephew went hiking, and basically the nephew just disappeared. So
Rhiannon explained through this Facebook update how Kai wasn't using his phone before he disappeared because it had been acting up. Because of this, Kai did not have his phone with him when he walked off.
He wasn't a phone talker. Texting wasn't really his thing. It was usually messaging. So I know a lot of people have been like, well, why wouldn't he have his phone? But just, you have to know Kai to understand he's not your typical 25, 26-year-old. He really liked kind of diving into his art and focusing on stuff like that, and not you know, chatting on his phone all day. So.
Strangely, she also wrote about how some of Kai's search history showed that he had researched that area, and she asserts he knew how dangerous it would be to wander off because he's camped in the desert previously. Sadly, Rhiannon says that the coronavirus pandemic of 2020 really worsened Kai's mental state, and the final texts he sent her are heartbreaking to read, as he mentions suffering from crippling social anxiety and explains, "I just feel like everyone's telling me to be positive and it's making it worse." On the morning that he went missing, he texted his mother saying, "I'm not doing well."
That was the very last message that I got, and I had tried calling. There were some reach outs that he didn't respond to, but that message he sent me was very early in the morning, and he went to work with his uncle later that morning. So the message was like at, you know, 1:30 a.m., 2 a.m., super late, and then he was at work with his uncle the next day. He had been working, so, wasn't too weird for him to not reply right away. And this job with his uncle was a very spontaneous thing. It wasn't planned. His uncle Brian had asked his dad, Brandon, if he wanted to go work with him that day, just, kind of looking for a sidekick for the day.
Uncle had something to do with it?
And Brandon declined, and Kai was like, sure, let's go for it. And so he kind of, on a whim, jumped in and went. He has that spontaneous side, and so, yeah, he opted to go that day. So that's another factor that's kind of confusing, is he didn't know that he had no premeditated plans of going to the location they were at. There was no chat with anybody aside from, family, that he was even going to be up in the Superstition Mountain area. So,
be sure to like the video, man. We got 4 people watching live. I appreciate everybody who rocks with the channel, who's watching me. Let's get it.
These details have led some to assume that Kai may have planned to go missing that day, and possibly that he wanted to end his life. Detectives eventually gained access to Kai's Facebook account, but weren't able to find any conclusive evidence that would help to immediately find him. But there were some telling internet searches discovered on his computer that gave an insight into his state of mind.
The history.
We looked through his laptop before we gave it to the detectives and found some searches that he was looking into. He wasn't looking into, how to commit suicide, but he was looking into ways to help cope with thoughts of suicide, and he had appointments lined up, so he was actively doing the work, which it takes a lot of strength to do that. I think that's something that more people, men and specifically, have a hard time kind of really getting in tune with their emotions. Not all, but some men have a hard time with that, and his entire family backed him on that, supported him, just really believed, it takes a lot of...
That seems to be a trend nowadays, where people talk about men not being in tune with their emotions enough, and how that creates psychological problems, how that creates mental health issues over time, because essentially they hold it in, they bottle it in, and they never express themselves. So that seems to be a trend more recently, to where people are speaking up about mental health issues.
Courage to say, what, I'm not doing well, and I want to see if I can get some help.
But to Rhiannon, things just aren't adding up.
I don't think he would go this long without talking to family, especially his mom. At the time I just had surgery, I was struggling, and he was my rock. I don't think he would have intentionally left.
She asserts that he wouldn't have made it very far in the dark, and he wasn't prepared for a hike in any way, as he didn't have any food or water provisions with him. But before we delve into any more theories, let's take a look at the timeline of the search and rescue efforts, starting from the heart-wrenching moment that Rhiannon learned of her son's disappearance.
Yeah, I got the very, very late phone call. I'd say midnight 1, I think, is when I got the phone call. And at that time, we weren't sure how serious it was, because, again, it had only been a couple hours. But the next morning, it really started hitting. I was stressed out all night, but I was like, okay, it's not unlike Kai for him to do his own thing. So I'll just see if hopefully some good news comes through. By early morning, I could feel it in my heart, like something wasn't right. And they still haven't found him. This is, overnight, this is a big deal. And so I spoke with the Welch family, and yeah, I wasn't sure when to leave or what to do or what, but we initially just instantly knew we were going to be heading down there. It was just a matter of when. And I asked them, I'm like, do you feel like it's time for me to be there? And they said yes.
The roller coaster ride that was the search for Kai can best be seen.
We got 5 people in the live stream watching right now, man. Shout out to Mr. 79 man. Says, hey Fabian, it's been a long time. Good to catch you live tonight, man. How you been? Been great. Mr. 79 man. It's definitely been a long time, man. Just glad to be here with y'all, man. Please like the video. Glad to be back on the platform. doing more content. There's more content on the way. Stay tuned, stay engaged. But right now we're doing the Explore With Us segment, man. You know, I like getting into criminology, mysteries, thrillers, disappearances, etc. So I'm going to continue posting these type of forms of content on my channel. In addition to that, you know, a lot more stuff coming on the way. I'm going to keep doing live streams too. So if you want to join my late night live streams, man, stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Through the Bring Khayman Home Facebook page chronology. August 19th, the page reads, "We are entering day 7. We have had search and rescue teams out as often as they possibly can be, every single day. These forces include men, horseback, dogs, drones, helicopters, infrared cameras. We are exhausting our resources in this search."
It's a lot of terrain, you know.
They had dogs, infrared cameras, they had drones, they had all types of equipment. Search parties.
We're pretty much at times on hands and knees under cactus and rattlesnakes and tarantulas and you name it.
It should be noted that this area of Arizona reaches high temperatures of up to 115 degrees Fahrenheit, 43 degrees Celsius, which is what was reported on the day Kai went missing.
That's a regular day in Texas.
Exposure to the elements would be a real risk factor, as well as heat stroke. But investigators are stumped because Kai should have been somewhere along the Weaver Needle Vista Trail, a public and commonly used 6.4-kilometer hike loop that sees frequent traffic.
When we started, we knew that the sheriff's department were kind of in a tight search area. So we actually started further away. We went about 3 miles because it was getting dark. It would have been completely pitch black out there. There was really no moonlight out there that night. If he had lost his way, there were several vantage points that he could have walked up and you clearly see the city lights of Apache Junction. And then apart from that, even about a mile and a half in, I can still hear traffic from that roadway, from the State Route 88. That's what's just mind-boggling because, yeah, you can get turned around over there, but especially at night, it would be virtually impossible to not be able to find your way back.
The Facebook page detailed that search and rescue had been looking for Kai since 5 a.m., pushing new territory.
What y'all think so far, man? Honestly, in my opinion, I think he calculated this. Of course, if he was looking into suicidal theories or ways to commit suicide in the past through his search history, I think he had calculated this. Let me know what y'all think in the chat.
And pushing their own limits. Because to their frustration, the temperature was hitting record-breaking highs, which left little room for being out on foot. Things were looking bleak, and the next urgent message on the Facebook thread read, "Everyone send your good energy. Today is critical." The search continued, but only came up with dead ends. Soon law enforcement started to consider other possible outcomes. Authorities rechecked footage over and over, while the search and rescue crew retraced their steps.
People with ADHD.
Explore with us. Reaction.
Even dealing with a frightening lightning fire at one point.
On the 20th, we had a storm come through during monsoon, and lightning actually sparked a fire in the superstitions. That put a little bit of a damper on continuing searching for the department.
Why?
And to my knowledge, I mean, they searched clear up until they couldn't anymore because of the threat of the fire in that area.
Meanwhile, family members and those close to Kai were interviewed, just in case, and cleared of suspicion. Donors started pitching in resources to help the cause. Rhiannon, Mindy, and others posted flyers to local convenience stores, food missions, homeless camps, and on countless online pages in a bid to get the word out. On August 22nd, Rhiannon returned to the Facebook page with a shocking update. But surprisingly, it wasn't about Khayman's disappearance. She instead came to say that the father of Kai's little half-brother, Caleb, had passed away.
Caleb is 9 years younger than Kai. Jason Smith, which is Caleb's father, passed away 9 days after Kai went missing. Jay really wanted to be there. It turned out to be that his cause of death was natural causes, but he had been through a lot, and he'd been through multiple back surgeries and was on a lot of medications that were not doing him any good. So yeah, that was mind-blowing, happening 9 days after. That was just, like, I thought I was literally in a dream, just trying to wake up, and just completely shocking.
As the devastating blows continued to come, Rhiannon lamented, "My son has lost his father, and his older brother is missing, all within just over a week. This horrible nightmare continued."
I'm in AZ. Summer's brutal. It is dry, but so is the oven. For sure. Let me know where y'all at. Where y'all from? Where y'all at in the chat right now?
In the face of all this tragedy, Rhiannon finally discovered one sliver of hope, writing, "We found a message on his phone where Kai was implying he felt bad for going a few days and not replying to his mom's message, as he was talking to one of his best friends. A few days. Here we are 12 days later. Nothing. He would never go this long without talking to the people he loved the most." The development does raise the question, would Khayman ever purposefully go missing, knowing that his family would be worried sick with no explanation? Perhaps this element does lend some credence to the theory that this was all a tragic accident, and it serves as just one more reason to keep on looking.
There's gonna be a plot twist.
But after 2 weeks went by without a trace of Kai, search and rescue backed down. The case was then moved over to a missing persons investigation, and the helpers from out of town reluctantly said their goodbyes. Rhiannon shared her overwhelming emotions, writing, "The idea of hope to be shut down again by a whole day of hard work yielding no results. It wears on one's body, mind, and soul." Around this same time, huge fires would strike in the Superstitions, closing off Lost Dutchman State Park completely. This greatly hindered any continuing search attempts, and although Rhiannon felt utterly confused and
forest fires,
helpless,
y'all.
she held strong to the fact that zero trace, no body, and not even any clothes had been found. It meant that Kai could still be alive out there. As week 4 came and went, Rhiannon said, "We're trying to stay positive, but it's harder to do each day." People started sharing their stories of Kai, celebrating the positive aspects of his life in an attempt to raise spirits. Rhiannon herself shared a tattoo that Kai had given her on Mother's Day. One high school friend remembered drinking coffee and blasting death metal at 7 in the morning before classes started with Kai, while another friend shared some metal music clips that Kai had been making in his free time, saying, "In usual Kai style, he didn't think much of his work, but I loved it." Others spoke about how...
Shout out to Elaine Anderson. Gotta love all the wonderfully unselfish people that help in these searches, for sure. Salute to all the people who take time out to, assist in situations like this. Mr. 79 man says, "I think some foul play is involved." Yes, yes. I called the uncle.
How good of a friend Kai was. How he was a good listener, a deep thinker, and someone who always went out of his way to help others, even calling him a big teddy bear. One man said, "One of my favorite things about Kai is how intimidating of a man he is. But when you get to know him, he is so kind and so full of life." Another individual said Kai pulled them out of many pits of depression. After reminiscing, Rhiannon got back to business, soon sharing a video of the Superstition mountain range, saying, "There is a cactus every few feet, so you won't make it far off trails. This doesn't show how truly rugged this whole area is. It was 115 degrees on this day and pure hell. I still don't believe he's in there.
See,
On
that's my
September
point, man. Like, it's flat land out there. There's not really too many trees, brush, bush, grassy, really like thick grassy areas, so to speak, you know? So I feel like if you're gonna find somebody, you're gonna find somebody in a situation like this. You're gonna find a trace of something, unless there's foul play involved, you know, or somebody just got him out of there, or something else is going on at hand, you know. So that's how I feel.
Police sent Rhiannon a message letting her know that they spent the day flying a drone over the search area, covering 1,000 acres in a grid search pattern. They gathered about 4,000 photos and promised to look through them for anything unusual. However, it seems nothing useful has come of it. All of these stunted efforts have left Kai's loved ones wondering where in the world could he be.
It's hot out there too, I'll tell you that, man. So definitely salute to all the people who volunteered to be part of the search parties. You got to keep you a water bottle, definitely, for sure.
And what happened to him? Still, Mandy and Rhiannon pushed ahead, determined to never give up. And soon, Mindy came forward with an intriguing new theory of her own, explaining, "We came across pictures of a mountain that resembles Weaver's Needle, and that mountain is Battleship Mountain. We feel it may be a possibility that Kai mistook another rock formation that resembled pictures he saw of Weaver's Needle and proceeded to that route. We are thinking he may have proceeded to an area a bit deeper than originally expected/searched. This direction of travel would have led him into the Hackberry Spring area, and even possibly further northeast into the LaBarge Battleship area. We are unsure if there was water flowing in the Hackberry area on the day he disappeared. Could Kai have mistaken this landmark for Weaver's Needle and gotten terribly lost going in the wrong direction?"
All right, now we got the theory.
Rhiannon wasn't sure if Kai would have tried to make the ambitious trek to Weaver's Needle in the first place.
But we were up there, we watched, the sunset, which that was my first question, was the sunset is the opposite direction of Weaver's Needle. So if you wanted to get a better view of the sunset.
Let me know if y'all like going hiking, man. Mr. 79, man. You go hiking out there in Arizona? Like, hiking is definitely a workout. It's definitely something to do. I guess it's a hobby for others. But, I guess there's different forms of hiking pertaining to specific climates across the globe, across the country, etc. Hiking out here, I probably wouldn't be a super fan of. You know what I mean? Because the dryness, the humidity or the hotness or whatever, just it being very hot and dry, so I know some people really go on hikes and stuff like that, especially, there's people that go on hikes in California and stuff. There's a lot of hills and stuff like that. I get that. But it's just a different climate out there, so I don't know if I'd be a fan of going hiking out here.
Why would he go, towards Weaver's Needle in general? Like, I just kind of thinking back to all of it. If he just wanted a good view of the sunset, there's a big difference between that and then, hey, I'm going to go hit that way in the distance that's 7 miles away.
Other theories pitched by worried
followers
included the possibility that Kai made it back to the 88 and then hitchhiked from there. Theories like this remind us how important it is to spread Kai's story and image all around the country.
Dang.
If he's somewhere out there, after all the months that have already passed, he could be anywhere. After fruitless months went by with no luck, on December 10th, Rhiannon posted a photo of the eerie enshrouded mountains, saying, "I think Mindy and I are starting to believe the Sups and entire area have a mind and personality of their own, since there is always some bizarre going on. We couldn't list all of the weirdness that's happened if we tried. They don't call these the Superstition Mountains for no reason."
And the more people that I speak to about this tell me, there's weird things that go on in the superstitions. And I mean, during our search, we've found abandoned camps where you could tell that people are living out there. as you're walking through these trails and these washes, you literally feel like there's someone or something watching you, to the point where the hair on the back of your neck stands up. And I've hiked these mountains for years, and so has my husband with me, but it's just now the more, I hear about, I guess there's been drugs found out there during searches. There's been, in the previous years when people go missing out there, but the people are always found. And
are they saying there's superstition out there now? Is that what I'm hearing? Wow. Thank you, Fabian, for your program in Melbourne's lockdown. Just eating restrictions here. Dang, y'all locked down in Melbourne? They're locked down in Australia? I didn't know that. Yeah, shout out to you, Elaine. Hold it down for us. Take it easy.
There's usually some type of evidence somewhere, I even actually thought about setting up a trail camera, because only at that spot people keep taking down the missing poster. And I don't know whether it's, people, the do-gooders that are, just wanting to, clean up or whatever, thinking it's an old poster, it needs to come down, not realizing he's still missing. But on the other trailheads, nobody touches them. They're the same posters that, we initially put up. So, I'm curious, if maybe we recognize, somebody taking that down, or it's so weird. And like I said, the police kind of seem like they've got he'll turn up. Somebody will find him eventually,
Researching the Superstition Mountains, we hope to gain some insight into how others disappeared or were found. And the information online tells a dark story. President Emeritus of the Superstition Mountain Museum, George Johnston, says that more hikers disappear in the Superstitions than any other mountain range.
Bruh, the mountains are called the Superstition Mountains. So that's how you know it's something not to play with. People taking down the missing posters sounds like foul play to me. They messing with it. They messing with the case. They tampering with evidence, so to speak. I don't know. That just seems very odd.
But still,
they snatch
Kai
people
wasn't
up.
hiking.
They kidnapping kids.
His excursion should have only taken a few moments at the very most. Either way, it is reported that an average of 4 to 5 hikers disappear or die in the area every year. In fact, only 3 days after Kai went missing, another hiker, George Wesley, disappeared in Telegraph Pass, on the other side of Phoenix. Wesley's body was found the next day a mile away from the main trail. Experts cite sheer drop-offs, deep canyons, extreme temperature fluctuations, and even dangerous wildlife as possible explanations for this troubling trend.
5 people in the live stream, man. Be sure to like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel.
Many people also believe in the lore of a lost mine in the area, called Lost Dutchman's Gold Mine. Not only is the elusive treasure trove of legend suspected to be within the Superstition Mountain area, but many versions of the story include Weaver's Needle as a vital landmark for explorers to locate the mine. Over the years, many adventurers have embarked on quests to locate the mysterious mine. Some don't make it back alive. Still, with its status as arguably the most famous lost mine in American history, this dangerous outcome doesn't stop new enthusiasts from making the trip. And one estimate claims that 9,000 people annually have gone in search of the mine since 1892. The mine is named after a German immigrant who allegedly discovered the mine in the 1800s, but kept its exact location a secret. In 1931, the legend gained notoriety when amateur explorer Adolf Ruth vanished while searching for the lost Dutchman mine. Disturbingly, Ruth's skull was found 6 months later, with 2 bullet holes straight through it. When the tale made national news, the strange story only served to spark more interest in aspiring treasure hunters.
Gold.
It was reported that Ruth's son
Solid
had learned
gold.
about the mine from a man he saved from a jail sentence, and when the son passed antique maps on to his father, Ruth set out, determined to locate the gold mine despite being 66 years old and needing a cane to walk. Although locals warned him of the treacherous terrain and unbearable heat, the stubborn Ruth pushed on. After his skull and later his remains were found, so were his belongings. But the maps were missing. No bullets were missing from his pistol, leading to the belief that he was murdered. Ruth's checkbook contained a message claiming that he had discovered the mine, and he even wrote detailed directions before ending the note with Veni Vidi Vici. I
Veni Vidi
came,
Vici.
I saw, I conquered. A slew of other deaths have occurred in the area as well. In the 1940s, the remains of a prospector searching for the mine were discovered, though the body was missing a head.
So these are just random deaths, mysterious deaths that occur in the area. There's nothing specifically related to a particular incident that occurred with Kai or this individual who the story originated around of being missing. Because it sounds like a bunch of people went missing within the area. So I don't know if there's going to be a plot twist or some type of twist or turn towards the end of this, but we'll see.
A 1945 book contained an account from the author claiming that he had a run-in with a sniper while seeking out the landmark. In 2009, a 35-year-old man disappeared in Tonto National Forest, and when his car and campsite were located, it came out that he had been obsessed with finding the lost Dutchman's mine for years. His body was found in 2012,
Go looking
wedged
for the mine.
between a crevice. In 2010, yet another 3 hikers went missing in the Superstition Mountains. For one of them, it was his second time needing rescue. Just a week later, though, the search was called off, and the men were presumed to have died from heat exposure. In 2011, 3 sets of remains were uncovered, theorized to belong to those unfortunate adventurers. In addition to this lost Dutchman lore, other factors play a key role in these disappearances. The Arizona Republic reported that Maricopa County is responsible for a disproportionate amount of search and rescue efforts. In 2012, a hiker named Kenny Clark was found dead after 5 days off the trail, and with an empty water pack.
Yeah, they probably just got some like individuals that are probably protecting the trail, protecting the gold there. If you come around that area, they snatch you up.
While we can't say for sure that Kai's
Point
disappearance
blank.
stems from these particular factors, understanding the strange history of missing persons in the area is certainly intriguing. Mindy did look into the dangerous mine shafts nearby, but to no avail.
The thing is out in that area, during our search, we have now found 4 vertical mine shafts, one that was 30 feet deep, and in the dark, could be very easy to trip over barbed wire and land in there, but we've searched it with cameras, and there was nothing in there except for some boards. There's 3 other ones, one that's not that deep, but he would have had to hike up on a hill, and that'd be pretty hard to fall in. And like I said, we searched that one. But just because we found and searched 4 of them, now our concern is, are we missing? There might be more. Or with the fact that we've had a drought recently, did possibly a void open up because there's less groundwater, and he might have been walking and fallen in that? Or, you know, we have fissures here in Arizona, you know, sinkholes that open up and stuff like that are about 12 miles or so away from where he went missing. So there's that possibility, which would probably make sense because we haven't found a shred of clothing. We haven't found, like he's wearing leather boots. So you would think even if animals had attacked, at some point, those boots would still be there.
One detail that Rhiannon said often gets messed up in this case is that people claim Kai was an experienced outdoorsman.
That is incorrect, and that has really hurt this case, I believe, because a lot of people assumed, well, if he's experienced, he knows what he's doing, or, he is, one that could walk 10 miles in the Arizona heat, no problem, but he wasn't a hiker. He didn't go hiking every weekend, or he may have done some, mild camping and, minor things like that, like with his dad in a camper, but it wasn't a passion. It wasn't like something he found joy in necessarily. He loves nature, but definitely not like outdoors, like hiking up especially the Superstition Mountains. Those are insane mountains. That's out of character for him.
It is unclear why so.
Miss 79, man. People are still in search for the lost Dutchman's mine where legend says he buried his treasure. It has never been found. That's all in Superstition Mountains. Wow. So you're familiar with the local folklore. Dang, that's crazy. So allegedly it hasn't been found. Allegedly, bro. Maybe some people have found some gold there. But of course they're not going to reveal that or tell that. Or maybe people go missing in search of it. It has never been found. So you think it's one treasure, or there's also possibility of pieces of gold throughout the mine, just random stray pieces of gold that people have possibly found, or it's all one treasure? But that's interesting. I definitely like to read up more on that story. That
Many
legend.
news outlets have been reporting this incorrect detail, but Rhiannon wanted to clear it up, as it further shows how unprecedented his actions were that day. Mindy told us how much of an anomaly this case is in her eyes.
Well, this is actually the longest one. Like usually, the ones that we have assisted on, they're found relatively quickly, either, alive and well or deceased, but they're found very quickly. And this one, it's like, first, I was kind of disappointed with the media attention that he got, or lack thereof. There was one little blurb about him being lost in the superstitions, and people just kind of chalked it up to basically he was stupid for being out there. It's 117. Because the way that they portrayed it was he was a missing hiker and an avid outdoorsman. So naturally, to those who actually go out and do this often for hobby and, pleasure, they would think, oh, well, how experienced could he be if he went out hiking in 117 degrees with no food or water?
They got it confused, man. That's the media, though. They'll scrutinize and tear things up, man, until they're in that position or in the shoes.
But he was not hiking. He just went, to get a better view, according to what his uncle stated. I mean, he's physically fit. He's not super athletic or anything, but you're talking a pretty healthy 25-year-old wearing black pants, black boots, black shirt, and a black hat with no food, no water, no nothing.
In the end, the investigation is virtually no further at the 5-month mark than it was on day 1. And that's the hardest part of all. Rhiannon once said, Kai has touched so many people, and all who know him know he's as special as they get. She addressed a note to him on her Bring Khayman Home Facebook page, saying, Kai, if you're running away from the world, I totally understand. I know you're struggling, and it was absolutely heartbreaking to see that you were watching videos on YouTube regarding taking your own life and wanting help so desperately. Your feelings are valid, but that isn't the answer. There are options, and we will do whatever it takes to get through this. Please, just come home. Both Rhiannon and Mindy shared their disappointment with how insensitive people can be to the serious nature of this case.
The amount of people on social media that are just downright cruel, it's another challenge. Like, the family doesn't really want to share much anymore, because as soon as they do, they get, oh, the cats ate him, or oh, the Apaches grilled him, just cruel. I mean, I can't even, some of the stuff that they say, it's like, it's not enough that
that's
their
people
child
today.
is missing.
That's
It's
people
been
today.
brutal because some people, they don't watch the article or read anything, and they just make comments. It's like, family does watch this, and
That's
as a
people
mother
in
that
general.
has a son missing, it's hard to see some of the ignorant statements that people will say. And yeah, I've got a lot of people backing too, so not to but yeah, he has so much love. I hope people can just be understanding that this is just a very bizarre situation, and we're trying to cope with it as best as possible.
Authorities told Rhiannon that everyone who has ever gone missing in the area has eventually been found, alive or dead, and that the longest anyone has ever been lost in the Superstition Mountains up to this point was 7 months.
Y'all tell me he's the only person that hasn't been found in the Superstition Mountains. They basically said people are either found alive or dead. No one's just never been found at all. People go missing there, though. So, it's a 79, man. So real quick, I wonder if some treasure's been found, but there's so much weird things happening out there. If it is out there, I wonder if there's some curse going on. Yeah, some crazy stuff going on. Elaine Anderson, Oak Pirates Quest with peak and explore interest. Got to crash for the night, early morning tomorrow. Catch you on the next one. Great to see you, and God bless. Appreciate it, Mr. 79, man. Take care, my boy. Take care, brother. Take it easy out here. Yeah, God bless as well. Hope you can join the next one.
As of January 2021, Kai's been gone for 5 months. Rhiannon is now looking into the possibilities of enlisting help from HRD dogs and handlers, underground, underwater sonar operators, and private investigators.
I've written down
Sonar.
13 possible situations that could have
Bringing out
happened.
the big guns now.
And I can't cross one off at this point. Like, we can't mark a single thing. And I'm being open-minded and even thinking outside the box, because in a situation like this, when your son is missing, you kind of start to wonder a lot. You start to believe, anything is possible at this point. Like,
That's the thing.
he did somehow find a way to, escape. He's very smart. I'm sure if that was really what he set his mind to, he could do that. But knowing that he had plans that evening, plans the next day, appointments set up, nothing in his conversations with people indicated that he wanted to just disappear. Other comments that he made, like, I would go into some therapy, but some of the programs he was looking into would require 30 days of inpatient or, just some extreme help to kind of get him on the right track. And he said, I don't think I could be away from my family for 30 days. So unless there was some major trigger of some sort that we can't figure out that really made him want to go, it's just, yeah, we really have no idea.
Khayman is a white male in his mid-20s who is 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, and
I
has
think that's probably the worst thing when you just don't know what happens or what happened. Just the unknowing, so the unknown.
brown hair and hazel eyes. He was last seen wearing a black Ghostbusters t-shirt, black jeans, and army-style boots. He has full-sleeve tattoos on both of his arms and short buzz-cut hair. Khayman was last seen August 12, 2020, at around 7:15 p.m. at Weaver's Needle Vista Viewpoint, near State Route 88, and milepost 203.5 in the Tonto National Forest. If you have any information or leads that could help bring Khayman home, please contact the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office at 602-876-8477.
Yes. If anybody has any information about
So he was last seen in
anything
2020.
at all, even if it's just a hunch, obviously one that maybe has some realistic ideas behind it. Please, reach out if you know of anybody that might know something. And also, if people are out hiking in those mountains, if they find anything that could be linked, we would really appreciate a reach out, and also that nothing be touched so that they can investigate more if need be. But from what I'm hearing, there's been tons of hikers out there and no trace. So
If there's anything to take away from this case, it is the importance of acknowledging mental health issues. Especially during the rough times of the pandemic, it is vital to check on those we love and make sure that they are doing okay and getting the help they may need.
So that's the most chilling story you never heard of. I thought there's going to be a little bit more of a plot twist there, but yeah, man, condolences to the family. Look like, I don't know, it's just a case of disappearance. I don't know. One of those things we'll probably never find an answer to, but hopefully some things turn up and they can get some resolve. But with that, that's Explore With Us and Explore With Us reaction. I haven't done one of those in a long time, y'all, but essentially criminology, mysteries, disappearances, in a short form documentary. Some of them are actually long, but I do some live stream reactions to these. So if this is new for you, man, subscribe to the channel, join the channel. Regardless, I'm going to be uploading more content. I just wanted to do a quick live stream as an introduction back into, me getting back on my grind, me kind of continuing to stay consistent with the uploading, man. I know it's been a while, but hey, we back at it. So with that being said, peace, love, prosperity to everybody rocking with the channel. We at 21K now, man. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Everybody take it easy. God bless. Till next time. Peace.